Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
What is going on? You are listening to the very first episode of the Spotcast. Before we get started, I just want to go ahead and do a moment of silence to acknowledge the 12th year of Eddie Guerrero's passing. Alright, Now, let's fucking get into it. Holy shit, what a Raw.
Yeah, that
Oh my god.
they did a whole lot with a whole little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was great. First and foremost, before we get started, Corey was on fire on the mic tonight. I don't know if y'all were catching some of the stuff he was saying. He was being, the guy's great every night, but tonight particularly, he was on fire.
I'll have to go back and watch again because I had mine turned down quite a bit. I couldn't really hear too much.
Did anyone notice that, like, Cole and Corey were like going back and forth, and Booker T's like having like his own conversation?
Yeah, and they kept having to bring
like,
Booker
Corey's
back
like
into the conversation.
Yeah, and then Corey's like, Booker, what are you talking about?
I don't know how much longer he is going to last on commentary. He's just been so bad. This last run of him on commentary, he's just been so bad.
I don't like him at all.
Well, I think at first people were like, "Oh, thank God, it's just not David Otunga." And now they're like, "Shit, at least David Otunga can form a sentence."
Yeah.
But let's get going into the recap of Raw. So we started off with Stephanie McMahon coming out. Well, first they showed the last 2 weeks of Raw Under Siege. They also did a slow-mo video of Shane coming out and doing the Under Siege thing, but they slowed him down saying the hashtag Under Siege, which just further made him sound like an asshole while he says hashtag Under Siege or whatever. Steph comes out and welcomes and reminds everyone that she is still in control of Raw and introduces Kurt. She's nice to Kurt for about 2 seconds before she starts berating him. Says that he has screwed Survivor Series all kinds of up. He has made himself the captain selfishly whenever he can't really beat anybody anymore, and he has also included his son, who has proven nothing. She says that she really feels she has no choice other than to, and it sounds like she's about to fire him, whenever the Shield's music hits and we see Seth and Dean come out through the top, out into the crowd, and they wait about 10 seconds or so, and then Roman Reigns pops out to a pretty big pop. They head down there. They recap the fact that the Shield is going to be facing the Bar and the Miz, better known as the Bar Mizva later.
That's so fucking good.
And Roman defends Kurt, says he's our boy, and then he says he wants to challenge the New Day for Survivor Series. And that was our introduction to Raw. Nothing. I mean, it was good. Got the return of Roman, which I guess was the first. It wasn't really a surprise, I guess.
Had he worked house shows?
No.
Leading up to this, because I know Bray has worked house shows.
I don't think Roman has because like you've seen videos. Well, of course, Triple H was part of the Shield, and then Samoa Joe was part of the Shield. So like, I don't think they're doing house shows.
I just figured he would have at least worked like one house show before Raw.
No, Kurt actually even worked a house show in Birmingham, England, with the Shield again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think tonight was Roman's first action in about 3 weeks or so. After that, they head into the first match of the night, which is the women's three-way match for the last Survivor Series spot. All three women came out wearing some kind of unique-looking gear. I don't know if that was intentional or if they were just bored. Mickey had this really cool. Mickey literally looked like she was wearing Tatanka gear. Like it looked really good.
I didn't get to see any of that. That sounds fucking hilarious.
No, Mickey. Well, at first I was like, man, that's like got to be appropriation. But then I remembered, no, she's actually like this proud Cherokee woman. So good for her.
Claps.
Bailey gets thrown out of the ring. They head to commercial break. When they come back, Bailey delivers 2 Bailey to back suplexes. Mickey throws Dana Brooke outside. Mickey then hits this top rope like jumping crotch thing where she just jumps onto Bailey's head. Then she hits a pretty nice reverse neck breaker, throws Dana Brooke out. Dana Brooke lands kind of awkwardly on her head, and she gets up and she's like holding her head, and Asuka's trying to, I guess, comfort her and pat her on the back, and Dana just pops up and goes, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" and hits Asuka, and in about half of a second realizes the terrible mistake she has made, takes off running around and through the ring. Asuka chases her down and hits her with one swift kick, too. I couldn't even tell. It just looked like she murdered her because she split her in half. But it was nasty. Cut back into the ring, couple of quick roll-ups, then a Bailey to belly. Bailey wins.
Before we move on, I didn't get to see the match. I wasn't home, but I fucking love Dana Brooke, like I always have.
I really do. Too.
I wish they would actually do something with her other than like she did that thing with the club a while back, when they were feuding with New Day, I think. Yeah, they were feuding with New Day, and she did that one promo with the Good Brothers, and that was it. Like, I wanted more of that. That was fucking incredible. I fucking loved that. I wish they would do more of that. Just give her a push. Put the strap on her, dude. I fucking love Dana.
I agree.
I'm tired of her being just a space.
I agree.
Killer.
I agree. She is the equivalent of Jacqueline from back in the Attitude Era days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what she... Except Jacqueline actually won the women's championship, like, a couple times, I think.
Well, and I think Dana Brooke will win it eventually, but I think it'll be one of those times... Here's the issue with the women's division that they constantly run into. Everyone gets a title eventually. It just is a matter of when. And they start running out of people to put the strap on. But, I mean, Dana Brooke is a great heel. And, I mean, tonight she had a couple of interactions with people where you really got to see how good of a heel she really is.
Right. But, yeah, I love Dana. I just wanted to get that out there before we moved on. Because, like, I don't talk about women's wrestling all that often. But Dana is one of those that I'm like, I really like her.
Yeah, I agree. She deserves something. Moving on. They also... Okay, so this is just a little bit of Survivor Series complaining along with everything. They keep referring to SmackDown as the B show, and Booker very specifically mentioned the WWE title being on SmackDown and being the B show when they were talking about the Brock versus AJ match. You are doing nothing good for yourself but constantly equating your title that has a 50-year history to being on the B show. Like, I get that you are trying to build this up, but don't cross the line of bashing your titles.
And you can't try to say, hey, we're the A show, we have the Universal Championship. That title...
is a joke. Just say it. Is a joke.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Like, I have a pair of shoes that's older than that title. Like, that, my shoes have more prestige than the Universal Championship. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do there. You can't. I mean, they've already devalued the WWE title as much as they can by putting it on fucking Gender for 6 months. But my shoes have more prestige than the Universal Championship.
I mean, literally, the best champion that the Universal Championship has had was the champion for one day.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying. But
yeah.
Moving on with the show. They announced that Cesaro is going to be on Miz TV later. They showed Gulak and Enzo coming out for a tag match. I honestly kind of forgot that Kalisto won the title, but whatever. So they come out, and Gulak and Enzo come out to Enzo's music. Enzo starts his usual, "How you doing?" And the second he says, "How you doing?" Gulak just screams enthusiastically, "I'm great."
Right.
And then the crowd, of course, starts chanting, "How you doing?" To which Gulak keeps repeating and yelling, "I'm great," at everyone in the audience. Drew Gulak is a national treasure, and he is the greatest thing in the cruiserweight division right now. But whatever.
He really is. I can agree with that.
Absolutely. Enzo continues his promo. He calls Kalisto Tostito Kalisto, which I don't know if that's new, but
it's pretty funny.
Tostito Kalisto, the tiny little luchador. Tostito Kalisto. Kalisto and Tozawa come out. Before Kalisto and Tozawa come out, Enzo says that he is going to finally give Drew Gulak the chance to really get what's on his chest out. And Drew gets the microphone and he says, "I'm really glad to be finally speaking to you all. We have a lot to go over," and the Kalisto music hits. Kalisto and Tozawa come out, and starts off with Gulak and Tozawa. Blindside tag. We end up with Tozawa and Enzo. No, sorry. Yes, and Tozawa and Amori. They heels get kicked out to go into commercial. We come back in with Gulak with a chin lock on Tozawa. Then we get Kalisto and Enzo in. Kalisto hits the cross body. Gulak and Enzo get kicked out. Then they do this really cool spot where Kalisto stands on the second rope and grabs the top rope and kind of opens him up a little bit. Tozawa goes through for a suicide dive, and then Kalisto hits a really nice, I don't really know what to call it. It was more of like a springboard tope con hilo where he was standing, then just jumped up and front flipped right onto him. From there, Enzo and Tozawa end back up in the ring. Tozawa gets ready to go for his senton whenever Enzo gets pulled out. Tozawa gets down, gets distracted. Enzo comes back in, hits the Jidenzo on Tozawa for the pin. Yeah.
Also, Enzo's, what is it? The Dejinzo? Is that what it's called?
Jadenzo. I think it's supposed to be like J-A-W, like jaw, because he's hitting you in the jaw.
Fuck Enzo for that, because Xavier's Lost in the Woods is light years ahead of that fucking move.
Exactly. It is overrated, and it doesn't even look real. Like
it doesn't.
I've only seen Enzo hit it like a few times because I don't watch 205 Live very often. But like I've seen him hit it on Raw and stuff, and Enzo's just looks meh.
I don't know. If he hits it quick, like out of nowhere, it's pretty cool. But if like the opponent is just down and he just picks him up and just like grabs his arm and looks around, and then just kind of falls back, like it's
Xavier Woods just did it with such like grace, because Xavier Woods is one of the most underrated wrestlers on the entire roster. I'll stand by that until the day I fucking die. But
I was just about to say he is
incredibly underrated.
Oh yeah, hugely underrated. But no, I do agree with Dylan. Whenever he like tonight he hit Tozawa with it like kind of quick and out of nowhere, and it didn't look terrible. But whenever he has time to like set it up, he just looks terrible.
Which, I'll be honest, as an in-ring performer, Enzo is terrible, but it's just his mic skills are just out of this world. So that's why he's even.
Yeah, and that's something that WWE seems to take over wrestling skills for the most part, because like Enzo is cruiserweight champion. And like that's okay, but like Cesaro, and I'm not trying to like, I'm not saying Cesaro should be cruiserweight champion because it's fucking stupid, but Cesaro's like, he may not be the best on the mic. He has charisma. I don't think anyone can like downplay that, because he's a pretty charismatic dude, but he's not the most charismatic. He's not the best on the mic, but he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster. And I will never say superstar. I will never say sports entertainer. Fuck that. Cesaro is one of the best wrestlers on the roster, but the most he's done is won the U.S. title. Like, he should have been world champion 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
No,
I think it's about time for the least to win the Intercontinental Champion. I want him to break away from Sheamus so bad.
See, I disagree. I disagree just because I feel like they're both in a great position right now, because neither of them is going to be handed anything better right now. At least now they've got gold around their waists. They're making money. They're selling merch. But going back to the mic thing, you know, it comes down to who sells merch. And Enzo is one of the biggest merch sellers they have.
Yeah, and like I can understand that from a business standpoint. I can understand that, but as a fan of the product, like.
Oh, no,
I am much more a fan of, like, if you can talk on the mic, that's great. If you can entertain me on the mic, that's amazing. Like, that's cool. But I am much more entertained by you putting on good matches consistently. That's why Roman's started to grow on me. And I know we were talking about that earlier before we started. But we were talking about Roman, and Roman has grown on me because he's gotten better in the ring. By a wide margin.
He started to grow on me with his series with AJ.
I agree.
Back in 2016, just they put on some. But moving on a little bit. After the cruiserweight tag match, they advertised that Miz TV is going to come up soon, and they cut to a backstage segment with Kurt and the Raw Survivor Series team. It says that we all have to get along. This is really important because I don't want Stephanie to come in here and kick my ass out, basically. Little does he know what's going to happen later. And he says that we all have to get along. He says, Joe and Balor, I'm worried about you two. So you two are going to tag together and face our favorite good brothers, Luke Gallows and Carl. And then he says, Jordan, my great, totally legitimate son, you have to prove that you belong on our team. So I'm going to put you against the guy who was going to turn into a woman not a month ago, Bray Wyatt. And Braun, he turns and he looks at Braun.
I'm sorry.
And Braun he says, Braun, tonight you're going to face, and Braun goes, I'm going to face Kane. And Angle goes, well, I was thinking, and Braun goes, I was thinking I'm going to face Kane. And Angle goes, you're going to face Kane in the main event tonight.
Because you're not going to tell Strowman no, because he will murder you.
Yeah, like even Kurt Angle knows you don't tell that man no. And then the best part of the segment, Braun Strowman goes, it's true. It's damn true.
Which was gold, I thought.
It was amazing. And he did it in a way that wasn't too cheesy. Like, it was very much like the way I would imagine Braun Strowman trying to awkwardly interact with other people would be like. Up next, we have the Miz TV with the Bar Mitzvah. It was the most boring segment of Miz TV ever, just because of the fact that nobody got beat up.
Exactly.
Which is a rare thing for talk shows on WWE television. Like, if you get through an entire talk show segment on a WWE programming and there's not a fight, a slap, a punch, anything physical happening, it's probably sucked.
Miz did do his little, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut thing, which he doesn't do as much as he used to, but I love it. Just because it is the most heelish asshole shit on the face of the planet.
I honestly think Miz is one of the, if not the greatest heel right now. Just because
100%.
Agreed.
Just because of Max heel.
Sammy is coming into his own as a heel, though.
We were talking. Me and Sam were talking about that the other night. I love Sami Zayn as a heel because he's changed nothing other than just being himself times 10,000. And Sami Zayn as a person wouldn't be annoying, but Sami Zayn ramped up to 10,000 is the most annoying on the face of the planet.
And another thing that he does, and I think that's what you were about to get to. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think you were about to get to it. Is when we were watching SmackDown last week, and he came out and he fucking high-stepped it out there in his little dance that he does on his entrance. Every week it gets more and more exaggerated. It's just so fucking good, man.
It's the most asshole. Like when he first did it, it was like tiptoed a little bit more. The next week he's like, get a little silly. The week after that, you're like, all right, Sammy, that's kind of ridiculous. This week he's coming out, he's got his leg above his head. He is just.
He's like borderline fucking. He's a borderline Nazi at this point. It's like borderline Nazi March at this point.
Oh yeah, if he had thrown his arm up the wrong way, it would have been sig high. We would have had a JBL in 2005.
Oh god.
Oh, that was
rough.
That.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
but what is funny though is, like, ever since that moment with JBL, he is banned from entering Germany for life.
Yeah.
They banned
him.
That is. I think that's great. I think that's hilarious.
They take that shit seriously.
Yeah, they really do.
You can get in huge trouble. And then I feel like I don't remember who it was. I remember reading something about it might have even been Chris Jericho wanted to do something like not super Nazi related, but like kind of close to it. And they were like, no. We can't even bring JBL back here now. No.
Which makes me wonder, like, remember when remember when they wanted to make Heidenreich like a Nazi that was frozen in time?
No, and that makes
Well,
me
it
sad
didn't.
because
It didn't officially happen, but it was like they had someone backstage had the idea. He got fired, by the way, like rather quickly. It was one of the writers back then. He wanted to do a story where Heidenreich was a Nazi that got frozen in time and was brought back to life. And I don't know what his purpose in wrestling would be, but he was going to be a Nazi. Like, how do you do European tours with him?
I think people forget that, like people are like, man, you know what's a cool idea? Nazi whatever. And they forget that Nazis are racist.
Yeah.
And, like, they just think Nazis are, like, crazy badasses or something. I don't know.
I don't get it.
Heidenreich, have you guys seen the greatest match of all time? If you haven't, look it up on YouTube. It's Heidenreich versus Doink the Clown. Hint, it is not anybody who has ever actually been Doink in a WWE ring. In a parking lot brawl in the parking lot of a Golden Corral.
Oh my god. How long ago was this?
I have no idea. I see it pop up on Reddit about once every 6 months. Somebody will find it. And it just, I rewatch the whole thing every time because it's just the worst.
Is he still wrestling? Does Heidenreich still wrestle? Parking lots at Golden Corrals.
Wrestling, but
close enough. He's throwing clowns around in Golden Corral parking lots, but like, it's close enough to wrestling.
We'll figure it out. We'll still make it.
I don't know, because it's hard to be worse than the whole Crash Holly. I'm putting the hardcore championship online or on the line at all times.
The 24/7 rule. See, a lot of people hate that. I loved that.
I did too. I thought it was amazing, dude. Crash Holly. See, I think Crash Holly is one of the most divisive wrestlers ever. You either love him or you absolutely hate him.
And I loved Crash. God rest his soul. I loved Crash.
Greatest super heavyweight to ever exist.
It's just the whole, like, I know where you're coming from. The 24/7 rule was hit or miss with some people.
Yeah, because like they were attacking him like in his hotel room. He was asleep. And,
that was, see, you hated that, but that was like the greatest moment from my childhood. That was like one of the funniest moments in wrestling in my entire childhood, is seeing Gerald Briscoe pin Crash Holly while he's asleep and winning the WWF Hardcore title, and even the commentators are whispering, "Oh my God, Gerald Briscoe just pinned a sleeping Crash Holly for the Hardcore title." Like, he can't hear you.
And the ref does like a very light 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
They're all like trying to make sure he wins. It's crazy.
Oh man. See, I love that. That's what's great about wrestling, dude. I love it, and you fucking hate it. That's what's so good about it. And we can talk about it like we're human beings.
Okay, I remember when we were first talking about making this show. All I heard about was Alex is going to be he's just going to take down everything you say. He's not going to agree with anything you say.
Oh, it's because we're not talking about gender yet.
Yeah, wait till we get to gender. That's when I'll want to rip Alex's throat out.
But I have noticed you two are like ganging up on me and just destroying me right now.
we do have a lot of things in common, but like the things we don't have in common, we're so passionate about that we can't just like settle on it. Like gender.
We don't ever actually talk about anything we agree on. Whenever we get, dude, you're just pissed that the modern day Maharaja.
Fuck off! No.
He was going to bring us into Nirvana, and you could accept it.
No.
Moving on back to the recap.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's not talk about fucking Jinder Mahal. He doesn't have a belt. Yeah, let's just move on. I'm done.
Jinder's back to irrelevant. So,
wait a minute. However, I will say, I would rather have Jinder as champion than Brock Lesnar. I do not like Brock Lesnar.
I can agree with that.
See, I just no. Brock Lesnar to me is one of the best champions we've had in years. Just for the fact that
Here we
he's
go,
a
Sam.
novelty. We don't see that guy ever. That title actually means something on the waist of Brock Lesnar because he's just not showing up on every show like, yeah, I'll do a tag team match with Shitblow Joe versus these two jobbers. No, I love Brock Lesnar.
Well, he doesn't have to have he doesn't have to have matches every week, but like at least be there, cut a promo, have Paul cut a promo for you.
See, I don't even want that because when Paul comes, it's just as special. When I know I'm getting a Paul Heyman promo, I pay attention. Well,
Exactly.
like, what is about to happen?
I don't know. I just don't like him having the belt. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. We're getting way off track.
So Bray versus Jordan is up next. Start off with a quick back and forth. Jordan hits his absolutely amazing drop kick. He honestly has the greatest drop kick in the game right now, outside of Kazuchika Okada. But does his drop kick and his suplexes. Jordan gets thrown onto the outside, jumps back up. Him and Bray brawl on the outside for a minute. Goes for a spear on the outside, gets thrown into the barrier, go into the commercial. They come back with Bray Wyatt, has Jordan in a chin lock. And then Bray Wyatt starts to work the knee of Jordan. We start to see him really like wrench on it, do a couple kicks to it. Eventually, Bray goes for the Sister Abigail, and Jordan's able to get out of it, hit a suplex, another Sister Abigail attempt, and then Jordan hits a very quick roll up. 1, 2, 3. Jordan wins, jumps up, then Wyatt attacks. Jordan attacks the knee super hard. Jordan is selling the knee really bad now, acting like he's in a lot of pain. The initial knee injury was actually Jordan jumping from the top rope, and the way he landed, he really sold that he did something on that landing. It was pretty nasty.
Can we get a counter on how many matches Bray has actually won on TV this year?
After this one, I believe it's 7. But
It's so ridiculous.
This Atlanta crowd was just vicious to poor Jason Jordan, and just start chanting, "Thank you, Wyatt! Thank you, Wyatt! Thank you, Wyatt!" And then right as they are about to walk out, you start hearing the "na na na na, hey hey, goodbye" chants, and we cut away to commercial. And that's that match and that segment, and the seed is planted that Jason Jordan might not make it to Survivor Series.
This has to be a heel turn for Jason. Like, it has to be.
Let's talk for a second. Was it planned all along that Jason would be taken out, or was it planned for Jason Jordan to go to Survivor Series and just the fan base just hated it?
The way I'm seeing it, seeing how Raw went down tonight, is, and I'll go ahead and spoil it before we get to it, but Triple H started working house shows, and then he was like, hey, I'm fucking good to go. Why wait for WrestleMania? Why not just go now? So they were like, we'll put someone in the last spot for the Raw Survivor Series team that's easily replaceable, which is Jason Jordan. He's an easily replaceable guy. I don't think anyone's really going to be upset that he's not on the team, and then they can just replace him with Paul, with Triple H, the King of Kings, the Game, the Cerebral Assassin, Dad. But yeah, that's how I view it. I view it as they put Jason in there because he's easily replaceable, and it was the easiest way for them to put Triple H in there and have his return.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think, and honestly, I think I get the sense that in the last month there's been a big shift in their creative direction. I think that they saw whatever they were attempting to do wasn't working, especially with the whole gender thing. They probably saw it hitting their ratings, and they were like, all right, time to switch shit up. Triple H is healthy. He's a big draw, especially with new, grizzled, veteran, badass Triple H. He just goes out there. Well, we're not going to get that. Right. Yeah. But
let's go ahead and move ahead so we can get to it.
I will say, to Dylan's point, though, I think Jason Jordan was going to be on the team all along until they decided Triple H was going to be.
I can see
Like,
that. Yeah.
Okay.
I-
Okay. Yeah.
And they chose to chase and then they chose to take Jason out because he's the most replaceable guy on the team. Because on the Raw team we have you can't take Kurt out, obviously. You can't take Braun out. You can't take Finn out. You can't take Joe out.
No. I mean,
Jason was the
all of
most
those-
easily he was the easiest to replace on the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, there's not throngs of Jason Jordan shirts in the audience. Like, we don't have to worry about that. So
Does he have merch?
Okay. Real quick,
Alicia Fox does.
while we're talking about the team,
Yeah,
I hate that they announced that John Cena would be on SmackDown Live's team on Twitter. I hate when they do that.
I hate when they don't do it on television. That pisses me off so much.
Exactly.
I hate that he's on the team. Period.
I do
because
too.
Rusev should be on the team.
It's
Because
Rusev Day
goes.
every day. Rusev should be on Team SmackDown. Preach it, brother. Much love, HH.
Rusev, preach it, brother.
Or is it Usev?
Usev. Give me Usev.
Usev, yeah.
Oh yes, I need. But whatever, Swanee Rusev is fine. So next we get into the Brock reaction segment. But first we cut to backstage. Kurt is backstage with Jason Jordan, who is sobbing profusely because, "Daddy, my knee is fine. Let me continue." And Kurt's like, "No, my son, you can't do that." And he's like, "Why? You had a broken freaking neck." And he's like, "No, can't." And he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "No." And they are both terrible actors.
I can't let my totally legitimate son get hurt at Survivor Series because he's my son that I produced.
Basically.
He's totally legitimate to me and only me.
Kurt Angle can be a bad actor and get away with it because that was his gimmick. Jason Jordan just needs to get his shit together. Although he did finish, although in the next segment he was in, he was a great crier. Next was the Brock Lesnar segment. Heyman gets on the mic and says that there are 3 reasons that make AJ Styles the real deal. I did not catch the first reason. I don't know if one of you two did, but I for whatever reason just didn't catch it or just didn't write it down.
I hadn't even tuned in yet. I was on my way home when it was happening, I think.
Yeah, I just completely, I guess, blanked out. But he says the second reason that AJ Styles is the real deal is that, although now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the first one had something to do with the long lines of them both doing the thing in Japan. Now that I think about it, I think that actually had something.
Winning the IWGP title on their first night because they seem to commentators seem to make that a big point. Don't forget they both won the IWGP title on their first nights, even though AJ's reign as champion was much more accepted and better in Japan than Lesnar's reign. But that's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that.
That was a spot on impression. But he says the second reason AJ Styles is a real deal is he has speed. He's the quickest opponent that Brock Lesnar's ever faced. He's the fastest man in the WWE today, and Brock Lesnar has never met somebody that is quite that quick. This is the third reason, though, that AJ Styles is a real deal, is that AJ Styles is the most talented in-ring performer in the world today.
Preach it. Preach it.
He does, and I agree. He does a very quick little quip about, well, maybe it's Finn Balor, but I'll let you two argue about that, which was pretty funny. But then, actually, before the third point, there's a chant that breaks out of "She said yes, she said yes," and you see Brock and Paul kind of stand there and look at each other for a minute, trying to figure out what's going on, and then you see Brock kind of lean into Paul and whisper something. They kind of laugh, and Paul gets on the microphone, and you figure it out by now. Someone in the audience has proposed to their girlfriend. The girl said yes, and Paul gets on the microphone and goes, the only reason that she even said that your girlfriend even said yes to you is because she has never even been close to the Beast Brock Lesnar. And let me tell you, You can never take over my promo. When I am on this mic, it is my mic. Just like when Brock Lesnar is in this ring, it is his ring. Great Paul Heyman promo once again. Just best guy on the mic in the face of the planet.
Which absolutely ruined that couple's like magical night, I guess you could say. Ruined it completely.
Oh yeah, just completely crushed this guy, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Like, if you're gonna propose to your girlfriend at a WWE event, don't do it in the middle of a promo. Wait until we're at a commercial break. Like,
especially a Paul freaking Heyman promo.
Yeah, like don't try to take Paul Heyman's spotlight, because he's gonna steal it back from you and it's gonna be kind of sad. But yeah, Paul Heyman is great on the mic. And then I believe after that, I ended up in a call like right after that, so I kind of quit taking notes for a minute. I believe after that was the Shield versus the
Bar Mitzvah
match. Good little back and forth start off. We end up with the Mitzvah, with the Bar Mitzvah, like just kind of running out. And I thought when they went to commercial break, it looked like they had like run out of the arena, and that was the end of the match. It was really good. Come back in. Good couple of double team spots with Seth and Dean on Cesaro. Miz eventually gets the tag. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel do their thing per usual, but Miz is in. Miz looks like he's going to turn around and hit the skull crushing finale. He basically has Dean and Seth kind of cornered, but not cornered. It was odd. Miz turns around, gets speared by Reigns. Then they do the triple power bomb for the win.
Something about that match, like as far as like TV wise, that I didn't like. How they had Miz like running away and like going into the crowd, and then like when it come back from commercial break, he was just like in the ring.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't see the match, but I don't like how they did that.
It was just a weird Raw. There were so many things that happened, and they could have booked the return of the Shield just so much better.
Really.
But
I think they should have never announced. They should have never announced that Roman was coming back this week, and it should have been some sort of situation where Dean and Seth are getting cornered, and then Roman comes out, and you know
what I think they should have done, because people are still complaining that Raw has not attacked SmackDown yet, which I'm assuming they're going to tomorrow night at some point.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I would have had
Survivor Series.
Yeah, I would have had Roman come out with the Raw team tomorrow night on SmackDown, and that be his return, is him running in there, beat the shit out of the New Day. You know, make sure it's obvious that that's going to happen.
It would have been more meaningful.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would have been so much better.
Then up next, we get the Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle segment. They come out to the ring to talk about Jason Jordan's poor knee. Kurt talks about his son and his career, yada, yada, yada. It's all
his totally legitimate son, may I add.
His totally legitimate son. We keep K-Fob alive on this show. If you don't like it, get over it.
That's his son, damn it. It's true. It's damn true.
It's damn true. Until Booker comes out as his actual dad, because that's really what happened.
Which would suck.
Dude, you know what? I'm going to sidetrack here, because it's a point I've been wanting to make for a long time. Why, for the love of God, is Booker T not wrestling? That guy is still jacked to the nines. He is in great shape. He is younger than most of the oldest guys that are still actively wrestling, and he's sitting at a commentator's table. He is...
Does he not wrestle for his promotion?
Well, he doesn't do anything with them, really.
Really? I thought he wrestled there.
No.
Like, because Jerry Lawler has his own wrestling promotion. He does, like, he wrestles there on occasion.
It's Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, but it's Jerry Lawler. Like, I get that, but, like, I just assumed that Booker would wrestle at his own promotion.
I think he did on, like, the first couple of shows, but no, he does not at all.
That's really weird. I would have expected that.
But so Kurt Angle comes out and, you know, yada yada yada, my poor broke son. And then Jason Jordan comes out, says, "Nah, Pa, I can fight. Keep me on the team, Dad." It's like, "No, son, you can't fight." And we get more of their terrible acting for way longer than we should have to deal with until Stephanie McMahon just comes out with no entrance whatsoever.
Which is weird.
She just kind of walks on and she gets in Kurt's face and she says, "If you're not going to fix this problem, then I am." She walks back. Kurt and his totally legitimate son go back and forth for a little longer. Jason Jordan really does like sell the whole "I'm heartbroken, I'm not getting this opportunity" thing. Like, he did do a good job in his role. Like
he was about to legit cry.
Yeah, which honestly might be the fact that he's like, "God bless it, I was on Survivor Series and now I'm about to get pedigreed by Triple H." But then the game hits. It's not even the King of Kings, none of that. It's the old school game badass music hits. Triple H comes out in a power suit with the sickest beard on the face of the planet, looking like the most just jacked nines, grizzled badass on the face of the planet. Walks down, gets in Kurt Angle's face,
which makes
him
him like a little kid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he makes Kurt look tiny. You realize how small Kurt is now. That guy's got to get back in. Gets in Kurt's face and tells him, "I'm in charge here. Your son's off the team, and not only that, I'm taking his fucking spot." And then Jason Jordan sits there and whines and kind of yells at Kurt. And Kurt looks at Angle and says to him, "Is this your kid?" Kurt goes, "Yeah." Triple H turns around, kicks Jason Jordan in the gut, and pedigrees him.
And then he just walks the fuck out. He just rolls out. Doesn't look around, doesn't stare anyone down. He just left.
Because there's nothing more badass kicking a guy's kid's ass in front of him and walking away. This was no lie. I told you guys before, this might have been my favorite segment of Raw in 10 years.
It was so good, man. I agree. It was great.
And now we have the setup for the Kurt Angle and Triple H feud at WrestleMania, which will blow the roof off, I'm sure, because I'm sure Kurt can at least put on 10 pounds of muscle by then.
And the venue actually has a roof that can be blown off this year, which is great.
God.
He's great.
Yeah, keep WrestleMania indoors, put SummerSlam outdoors.
No.
That's way off topic, but I've always wanted that.
Let's keep it all indoor.
I mean, I can agree. I agree. Keep it all indoor, but if they want to do an outdoor show every year, make it SummerSlam, and don't do it in fucking New York every year.
I was just saying, don't do it in Brooklyn, New York every goddamn year. Go do it in Orlando, some random soccer stadium or something.
Put SummerSlam back in LA.
Yeah.
SummerSlam in LA. If you want to have like your big four in the same city well, it's not even just the big four. It's always fucking SummerSlam and Mania go back to the same like 3 places every year, and SummerSlam's been in Brooklyn for 3 years straight now, 4 years straight.
Yep.
Put it in LA. That's where it should be. When I think of summer, I don't think of fucking Brooklyn, New York. I think of like LA, California, Florida. Yeah, Florida and California. Have it in one of those 2 states. Alternate it.
Anyone that's ever been to New York will tell you that 99% of the time it is just a gray, ugly shithole anyway.
Yeah. I've never understood. There's nothing about New York that makes me think summer. Ever. Even during the summer.
I vote that we bring WrestleMania to Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hey, I agree, dude. Hey, Neyland Stadium's a 102,000 seat fucking venue, man.
Exactly.
Dude, and all I'm saying is that 9 times out of 10, Knoxville in early April is not a terrible place.
It's really not. It's nice, man. East Tennessee's a
Although
nice place to be year round.
we should definitely warn people to take allergy medicine. That's a problem, but whatever.
Yeah, I've lived here my whole life, and my allergies still kill me every year. We are not even talking about wrestling. We're talking about allergy season.
What happens to the podcast is you literally start talking about whatever random shit
Oh
you
my
think
god.
So yeah, we had the great Brock Lesnar promo. Paul Heyman's, was fantastic as always. Moving on, we of course had the Jason Jordan getting kicked off Survivor Series segment, which really kind of just threw Raw off after that. No one really cared what happened anymore. It was over.
That should have been like the main event, I guess.
It should have been the thing to close the show out. Which, well, I don't know, because the way the main event ended,
True,
it worked.
True. I mean,
they should have pushed the promo before the main event. Have Balor and Joe versus the Good Brothers before that segment, and then still have the main event be Braun and Kane. Like that would have worked out a lot better. But having Joe and Balor versus the Good Brothers like right after that segment, I was so thrown out. I couldn't even pay attention to it. Like I missed pretty much the entire match because I just couldn't focus.
Yeah, no, I really was not into this Balor and Joe and Good Brother match. It was a fine match. What it was kind of long. It really felt like they were like trying to go for extra time, and then as soon as it was over, Joe like got the fuck out of there, and it looked like he was just being an angry badass, but really it looked like he was like, shit, we gotta go, man. We got 5 minutes left of the show. So decent match, fine match. Balor and Joe will probably be, if I had to guess, one of the first two eliminated in the Survivor Series match, just because they always like to shock people with one of the big guys. But yeah, and then we move on into the final match of the show at 11 o'clock exactly, 11 o'clock Eastern time.
Well, before that, not to cut you off, but before that, it's like 10:58 Eastern time, which is 2 minutes before Raw is supposed to go off the air. Instead of them going to the match, they have a backstage promo with Alexa, which I didn't really pay attention to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a
2 minutes before the show is supposed to go off the air. They finish that segment and then they go to commercial.
Exactly.
Yep.
That was ridiculous.
They very clearly did not anticipate these guys having the cardio to last this arduously long-winded match, but whatever. Braun and Kane come out. They just go back and forth a little bit in the ring, and then they roll out. And I guess this was no DQ, either that or the ref just like quit giving a shit. Kane sets up a table. They both get chairs, beat each other up for a while. Braun gets the better of him, kind of beating him over the back while Kane's laying against these steps. We cut away to yet another commercial because we have time for that in this match when it's already about 11:06. We come back from commercial. Kane has gotten the upper hand. Braun eventually gets them up onto either side of the ring post, and it looks like Braun is trying to set up for a superplex where he's gonna superplex Kane up over the ring post onto the table down below him on the floor. But of course they evade it because we're never ever gonna get that spot ever.
Not in the WWE, we're not.
No, hell no. And then we get this Braun just randomly picks him up into a power slam, runs, jumps, and goes straight through the fucking ring in what was the second greatest moment of the night. Really, though, was probably the most shocking moment for me. Just because when it happened, it was so unexpected and so out of left field.
And that was just the end of the show. They hit the credits, and that was it.
And by greatest, he means worst. It was terrible.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good match. For what it was, I thought it was a good match.
I thought the match was terrible, but that ending was amazing.
It was just an all-out, like, not to steal anything from TNA, GFW, fucking Impact, whatever they're called now, Anthem. It was a good monster brawl, dude.
But the thing is, if they're going to go through the ring, somebody has to at least, I guess, poke their head back up before they go to break. like before it ends.
No, see, I don't agree with that. For like, it sells the devastation of the move, not only to Kane but to Braun himself. Like, going through the ring is supposed to be. I mean, I'm sure it fucking hurts, but like, it's supposed to be sold as they're dead. Like that, like that's what it's supposed to be. Like, if you guys remember, and I'm sure you do, because it's a really like infamous moment in wrestling history. Not even just WWE, but Lesnar and Big Show's superplex. That like they didn't go through the ring, but they broke the ring. Like the ring fucking imploded. And the only thing you hear is Taz going, "Holy shit!" And and that was the end of the show.
See, I don't know. I am kind of. I do agree with Dylan on the head thing. I do feel like. Not even necessarily like let us see their head, but I feel like the whole point of this Braun Strowman Kane feud is to put Braun over. They should have at least had like Braun kind of like pop his hand up, like do the whole Living Dead crawling up shit or whatever. Just let him know, okay, he's alive, he's here. That's just my opinion though. But yeah, that was Raw.
Okay, yeah. Now, and I'm going to contradict myself here, but now that I think about it, like Braun has survived. What the fuck did Roman do to him in an ambulance? Crashing an ambulance while he was in it.
He survived attempted murder twice.
Twice. He was put in a dump truck for a week. Like, he lived in a dump truck or not a garbage truck for a week.
A normal human can't do that.
No, but he can't pop his head up from a power slam. Okay, in this scenario, I agree with you. Because it's Braun fucking Strowman and he's not a human being, but anyone else.
Exactly. That's why. Just because it's Braun, that's why I said that.
Okay. Yeah. In that sense, I understand. In this scenario, I understand. But if it's anyone else, like if fucking, for God knows whatever reason, it happens. Like Kalisto and Enzo's match, they go through the fucking ring. Those guys are dead.
Those guys are dead.
Those guys aren't even kayfabe dead. They're actually dead. But yeah, in Braun's, in this case with Braun, I agree with you. But any other person on the roster, no, they're dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Braun, I agree with you. Not even his head, just his hand. Like pull his arm out and lay his hand down on the mat. Yeah.
Just let us know, like, all right, he's there. Like he's not quite like fucked. I don't know. Sam, you want to go over the Survivor Series card for us real quick?
Woo, excuse me. Okay, so the card is looking like, and this isn't in any particular order because WWE hates to give us match orders anymore on cards. This is just how I have it written down. Is Alexa Bliss versus Natalya, which I'm going to assume would kick the show off. For the first Raw.
Alexa versus Charlotte. That's what I'm praying for. But
I agree. But that'll be like the first Raw versus SmackDown match. If Natalya is the champion going into SmackDown or going into Survivor Series, I'll be upset. That's the first match on the card, and then we have Miz versus Corbin / Sin Cara, and I think I just actually vomited in my mouth when I said / Sin Cara. I'll kill myself.
Which I actually see happening.
It probably will. I really hope not. To everyone listening that doesn't know me, I am the biggest Baron Corbin mark you will ever meet. Yeah, I had a stroke when he won the U.S. title. Also went into a deep state of depression during WrestleMania this past year when he didn't win the Intercontinental Championship. And Alex is a witness to that. I was in a deep depression.
It took him a solid hour and a half after that before he got back into WrestleMania. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Well, because this year's WrestleMania was 7 fucking hours long.
Yeah, and me and Alex are going this year, and I'm really excited and everything. But I feel like we're going to get through the first 3 hours of Mania, and then I'm just going to look over at Alex and be like, I want to fucking die.
Yeah, no.
Because at that point, we're going to already have gone through Access and Takeover and we're probably going to go to a couple of progress shows, and we're going to have watched so much wrestling that by the time WrestleMania gets there, we're going to get through like 2 or 3 hours, and I'm just going to want to like kill myself.
I'm not gonna watch wrestling for a month after we leave wrestling.
Same. I won't even. Well, we'll watch the Raw after Mania, go home, and then I won't watch wrestling again until August.
Until SummerSlam. Honestly.
Yeah.
What's the next match?
The next one is The Bar versus the Usos. Also, I want to throw out that I don't like The Bar name. I much preferred Cesaro.
Yes. Thank you.
But The Bar, like, I don't know. They said I remember when it happened, the promo, they're like, we set the bar for the Raw Tag Division. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then they started, like, they were known as The Bar after that. I don't like that name.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it.
Cesaro was just much better in my opinion.
Let's just be honest here. Bar Mitzvah is the greatest.
That is one of the best. It's not better than Ben Gay though. Benjamin and Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, old Ben Gay dude.
Yeah, for everyone listening, go hashtag Ben Gay every time that Benjamin and Gable wrestle. We're trying to get that name legit.
Get it trending, please. Anyway, moving on. We have to my knowledge, unless there's going to be something that hasn't been announced yet, the only title match on Survivor Series, Enzo versus Kalisto for the Cruiserweight Championship.
Which will be my piss break.
Yeah, yep. And I hate saying that because I was really excited for the Cruiserweight division to come back, but they have just... God, they blew it with this. The Cruiserweight division has just been so abysmal. Even like when Neville was doing his King of the Cruiserweights run, which was amazing, and I love Neville. He's also rumored to come back. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
Oh no,
I would. I'd be happy.
Yeah, I would too. But they just really they shit the bed with the Cruiserweight division. It had so much promise. I was so excited, but the time slot that 205 Live is in is not good. Like right after SmackDown. Which also, yeah, that's what I was about to say. It doesn't make any sense to me. Don't have 205 Live after SmackDown when the Cruiserweights are on Raw. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Plus, it makes the Cruiserweights travel even more.
And not only that, when your build up to it is the Cruiserweight Classic and your two biggest stars and Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi don't sign, people stop caring.
Yeah, that's a pretty big blow. When T.J. Perkins is the guy who wins your tournament.
TJP is legit like 30% of the time. So,
like he's been released. I'm pretty sure he was released.
No. He's just He's still there.
I think I saw that like 2 days ago.
Hang on.
No.
I'm looking it up right now.
If he got released, I'd be happy for him though. Like he could do great on the Indies. I think he's
still on WWE's website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's still listed.
Okay.
Well
then, scratch that.
So, next match on the card though.
Next match on the card. This is how I'm assuming the card is going to go. Is they'll have AJ versus Brock before. Actually, no. Scratch that. We won't talk about AJ Brock yet. We'll talk about the women's Survivor Series match, Raw versus SmackDown. We have first up Team Raw, which is Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and the newest member Bayley, who won her. Was it a triple threat tonight?
Yes.
Okay. And Bayley's the newest member versus SmackDown with Becky Lynch, Carmella, Charlotte, Naomi, and Tamina. And I know we're not going to talk predictions here, but I cannot hold this back anymore. I haven't even talked to you guys about this. Carmella's going to cash in Money in the Bank at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about that the other day. Makes sense.
Yep. It'll happen.
But what would be great would be if she cashed it in on Alexa Bliss.
Oh my God.
See, people that, which they haven't, and I've seen that brought up, and they haven't really established if that's like against the rules of any kind.
They really haven't.
No, because I think back at SummerSlam, people. No, it was before SummerSlam. People were speculating that Corbin would cash in on Brock.
I remember that. I do remember. I remember seeing stuff about that. They haven't, like, WWE hasn't said anything about that. If you're if you're Mr. or Miss Money in the Bank, if you can cash in on the opposite show's champion, that needs to be something they need to address.
Well, and I would say you can, because when they do brand specific things, they say the SmackDown or the Raw. It's like it's not the SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank.
It's just Money in the Bank.
The Women's Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she could. If she cashed in on Alexa, though, dude, I know Alexa's a heel, but like she's pretty loved by fans. That would be incredible heat.
Yes.
I mean, that would be a great way to turn her face.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moving on. AJ versus Brock.
I'm hype.
I am hype.
I just, too,
it's exhausting to think about.
I'm kind of torn because AJ is like a top level performer. Like he's like a match of the year candidate every single night, and then Brock is like 5 to 8 minutes max.
Well, whenever that gets brought up, I always just link Punk versus Brock at SummerSlam a few years back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is what I think this is going to be, which is going to be like Punk versus Brock, where I think it'll be a pretty long match. I think
it'll be Brock's best match in the past couple of years.
Which I hope and pray that they have AJ upset Brock. I really hope that happens, but
I don't think it will. I think Brock wins.
I think he does
via shenanigans.
I don't even. I mean,
I think there will be shenanigans.
Maybe like some Singh brother bullshit, or and this is just hypothetical thinking. Shenanigans in the other direction. He dropped the Finn Balor hint tonight. Paul Heyman did drop the Finn Balor. Hey, I don't know who's actually better. So we could see Finn come out there in full demon and be like, "Hey, fuck you, Brock." Okay.
Yes, coming from at TLC when Finn and AJ did the whole club, like at the end, like did the club, I guess, salute to each other.
Too sweet.
Which that would build that up pretty good.
Yeah, that would make sense. I don't know. I'm just saying there may be shenanigans, but I don't actually think there will be. I think it'll be a clean finish either way. We'll get to our predictions later in the week, though.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming the traditional Survivor Series match will be the main event. And with Team Raw, we have Kurt as the team captain, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and newly freshest man on the team, Dad, the cerebral assassin, the game, the king of kings, the dad of all dads, Triple H.
I'm really glad that young kid is getting a push.
That who?
That young kid is getting a push.
Oh, that fresh kid, man, that's a blue chipper out there, Triple H, I'm telling you.
Whew. Oh, dude, that guy's going to be gold in a couple of years.
He's going to be something big. He's going to be something big.
I can feel it.
But they're going up against Team SmackDown, which is Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, and John Cena. I wrote down Todd Dillinger for some fucking reason.
Because you were dreaming about what you wanted to happen. There's a big difference. Which
I think is a boring fucking team.
It really is. And it's not for the fact... Well, it's not for the fact of who they are. It's just for the fact... Because, like, you look at this team on paper. As I'm looking at this team on paper, Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, John Cena. That's a stacked team on paper. But the way that Roode has been built, the way that Shinsuke has been built, the way Randy has been booked, like the past since Mania, basically. And how John Cena just kind of like showed up and he's like, hey, I know I was just on Raw like 3 months ago, but I'm all SmackDown strong. I'm SmackDown proud. I'm right there with it. It just doesn't make sense.
That
Yeah,
and
I'm just. I mean, honest to God, SmackDown's only good babyface is AJ Styles.
Yeah.
I mean, AJ Styles and Ty Dillinger, but I mean, hell, people kind of quit caring about him.
They took SmackDown's like most face, like the faces of all faces, and turned them heel.
I'll tell you who the next big babyface of SmackDown is going to be, and it's going to be Rusev.
Roo. It's Rusev Day. Happy Rusev Day.
Aiden English and Rusev are gold.
Aiden English and Rusev are my favorite parts of SmackDown, and I'm really excited for me and you to go to SmackDown so I can see them. It's going to be fucking great. That's all we've got for Survivor Series.
Yeah, we're going to move into the next part of our podcast. Me and Sam are just going to do a kind of quick little recap of Power Struggle. Thank you, Dylan, for tuning in and working with us on Raw and going over that.
We'll bring you back in a little bit.
Yeah, let's go over some Power Struggle results.
Okay, we're just gonna run down the more important parts. Me and Alex didn't watch the whole show. We watched it after it had already aired live. So we just watched like the most important matches. We didn't watch like any of the 6-man matches or anything like that. We mainly watched the title matches. But we did watch the end of the junior tag final. Roppongi 3K won. Show and Yo. That sets up Roppongi 3K versus the Bucks at Wrestle Kingdom. Is it at Wrestle Kingdom?
Yes, it'll be at Wrestle Kingdom. Which I mean, I guess that's the best match you can make for that division right now.
Yeah, the junior tag division is it's lacking right now.
Of course, honestly, the junior tag division is nowhere near as awful as the heavyweight tag division.
The heavyweight tag division is in a lot of trouble, and I've been very vocal about my dislike for the Killer Elite Squad. I don't like them as champions.
I like Davey Boy Smith Jr. But I cannot stand Lance Archer.
I loathe Lance Archer. He has the look, but he just doesn't do anything in the ring that like grabs my attention.
Yeah. He's like Cody. You ever seen Cody Hall, Scott Hall's kid?
Yeah.
He's like him, where he's just kind of boring.
He had it, and he had it set up for him so easily. Like he got brought into the Bullet Club like pretty early on. He had a platform to do it, and he just couldn't get anyone's attention. He just wasn't good.
Just couldn't get it,
and it sucks. That really sucks for the guy. But anyway, moving on, we had Suzuki and Yano for the Never Openweight title in a bull rope death match that was maybe the worst match in New Japan that I've seen since I started watching New Japan.
Yeah,
it was so bad and boring, and there was a run-in, and did we ever find out who that was? Maybe it's somebody that's like relevant, but I haven't been watching New Japan for the longest time, so I don't really know everyone yet.
I think it's one of their like normal Japanese guys. Suzuki, they just don't get a lot of TV time, so you don't really see a lot of their guys.
Right. It wasn't a good match. It was not a good match, but Suzuki retained.
They didn't even.
I don't even remember how he retained.
I mean, he hit the package pile or the gotch pile. Right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
They didn't even really set up his Wrestle Kingdom opponent. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. It kind of sucks because I really do like him, and he's a badass, and he could have some legit awesome matches. I feel like if Shibata hadn't have gotten injured, that would have been the match to make, but I don't know.
It wasn't a good match. Suzuki's great, like you just said. I love Suzuki. He deserves better. I think, I don't know, the bull rope thing I feel restricted them, and calling it a bull rope death match, and they're like wasn't blood. There weren't any crazy there weren't really any crazy spots. They choked each other with the rope a few times.
They're real loose with that deathmatch term.
Yeah, really loose. I am going. We had the Marty Scurll and Ospreay match. I'm going to let you talk about that for 2 seconds. I have to run to the bathroom.
Good deal. Yeah, that was a great match overall. Those two always really go at it together. The best part about them and this fatal four-way that got set up at the end of it, you had Hiromu Takahashi come out along with Kushida to set up a fatal four-way at Wrestle Kingdom. First off, Hiromu came out in protective headgear so he could actually talk on the mic, which was hilarious considering he spent 3 months trying to talk on the mic and has just gotten the crap beat out of him every time. But the inner storylines they have set up for this match is just really, really good. Especially just because they really all kind of center around Will Ospreay a little bit. Will Ospreay took the title off Kushida. That's of course a great rivalry. Kushida took the ROH TV title off of Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll took the TV title off of Will Ospreay. And for those of you who aren't bored and sit on Reddit all day and follow this crap, Marty Scurll has kind of become Will Ospreay's foil. Will Ospreay's one of his biggest first title wins was the ROH TV title, and the next day Marty Scurll beat him for it. A couple months later, Will Ospreay won I believe it was the RPW British Heavyweight title. I think that was it.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, Marty Scurll beat him for that title. And then Will Ospreay finally beats Kushida for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And a month and a half later, Marty Scurll beats him for it. So this is a really, really interesting match. Sam, I was kind of explaining the inter-storylines going on here. Okay. I think it's honestly, I love the whole Wrestle Kingdom card is going to be amazing. But I think this is one of the most interesting matches that they have going on, especially because I really feel like Will Ospreay is almost the center of this whole thing.
And I feel like it's going to be a match that's going to be overlooked on Wrestle Kingdom this year because there's so much going on.
Yeah,
I think it'll be one of the better matches on the card, and I don't think a lot of people will be paying attention to it. And when they actually see it, they're going to be like, oh my god, that was a great match. Because Marty's great. Everybody knows that. I love Marty. Ospreay's great. Takahashi's great. And Kushida's great. Everyone in this match is great. And it's I think you were telling me it's the first fatal four-way match in New Japan history.
Yeah, they constantly do, before anyone does the whole, well, they do fatal four-way tag matches. Yes, but they don't ever really do multi-man singles matches. So this is going to be something unique and really, I think it'll be completely different than any WWE fatal four-way.
And this, like we said before when we were talking about this the first time, when we were watching Power Struggle, is I said that most of the time WWE's fatal four-way matches are really good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh my god, New Japan's so much better than WWE, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's hard to hide the fact that New Japan does put on better wrestling matches than WWE does. So I'm very excited to see if WWE can pull off really good fatal four-way matches. I think New Japan's going to pull off a fantastic fatal four-way with this because Marty, Takahashi, Kushida, and Ospreay are all fucking fantastic in the ring. I think this match will be great.
Yeah, I think it could end up being a quiet show stealer.
Yeah, but, just like move on. I forgot what I was going to say. It was a match on Wrestle Kingdom last year. I couldn't remember, but it was something that I didn't really expect to be that good, but it was really good. Was it maybe Cody and Juice?
Oh yeah, they had a great match last year. I think 4.25 star.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, it was Cody and Juice last year. That's what I was thinking of. That's a match I kind of overlooked because it was Cody's first match in New Japan, first match under the Bullet Club name.
Yep. Yeah, first match under the Bullet Club name.
Yeah, and it had that brought it some attention, but I don't think the match itself was thought to have been good. It was really good. Moving on, we had Kenny Omega versus Trent God forsaken Trent Beretta for the IWGP US Heavyweight title.
And Kenny carried him to as good of a match as Trent Beretta could have had.
Yeah, and I hate that. It makes us sound bad that we're just like, you're gonna notice I will shit on Trent Beretta every opportunity I get because I just don't like the guy.
I don't really like him unless he's with Chuck.
I agree.
Just because the best friend. I like the best friends gimmick. I think it's funny.
I agree.
No, I agree. I am not a Trent Beretta fan by any stretch of the mind.
Most of my memory of that match is just Kenny beating down Trent the entire match anyway. Like, I don't remember. I know Trent got like a decent amount of offense in, but like most of the match in my head is like, Jesus Christ, Kenny Omega's just killing Trent.
No, that's about what I remember from it.
Yeah.
But of course, the big moment of the match was after the match, whenever Kenny cuts his promo and says, you all blow dick and no one can compete with me. And then Chris fucking Jericho pops up on the big screen and he's like, fuck my cruise. Let's get it on at Wrestle Kingdom.
With Judas playing, which was like the theme song for an NXT event not too long ago. I think it was maybe TakeOver Brooklyn 3.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it was like literally just back in SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be that play when Chris Jericho walks out is going to absolutely come unglued.
Yeah, that him showing up in New Japan got the internet's attention just a little bit. It kind of stirred people up.
I think if anything is going to move New Japan in the direction that they want to go, it's going to be this.
Yeah, it's a good move on Jericho's part because Jericho's had a great run in the WWE the past like 2-3 years. I'm not saying he hasn't, but I think it does a lot for Jericho to prove that like he still has it. He's on a stage where he can do whatever the hell he wants. It's going to prove Kenny as one of the greatest wrestlers on the fucking planet right now. And like you said, it's going to help New Japan progress throughout the world, especially in the United States, North America. It's good for all parties involved.
Yeah, I mean, this I think is going to be what is going to bring New Japan really. I mean, the Long Beach show did a lot for them, but I think that this is going to be what is going to push them into that next level of greatness in the U.S.
Yeah, and Dylan doesn't watch New Japan, and he never had. Dylan, have you ever watched New Japan? If you're still there,
I have not actually.
Yeah, and Dylan, you want to watch Jericho Omega, correct?
Yes.
Exactly. There it is. Like, someone who's never even watched the product wants to watch that match. It's a big match.
Because even if you don't even... If until this moment happened, you didn't know that wrestling outside of the WWE existed, you are now suddenly interested in wrestling outside of the WWE.
Yeah. It's a big thing. It helps New Japan. It helps everyone. It helps New Japan. It helps Jericho. It helps Kenny. It helps
the WWE.
It helps the WWE. It helps independent wrestling because people are going to watch Wrestle Kingdom, and guess what? The Ring of Honor title is being defended on Wrestle Kingdom. People are going to go, hey, what's Ring of Honor?
Exactly.
Yep. People are going to check out Ring of Honor. They're going to see guys in Ring of Honor that work for other promotions. Like they're going to see... never mind, drawing a blank. But they're going to see people that work for other promotions. They're going to find a wrestler they really like. They're like, oh, I want to watch more of his stuff. And then you go watch some of like the Bucks. You see the Bucks, and you're like, oh my god, I want to watch more of the Bucks. And you go watch more of the Bucks, and it's PWG, and it's what's Conan's wrestling promotion? The Crush.
The Crash.
The Crash.
Down in Mexico.
You go watch the Crash, which is a pretty good promotion. I'm not big on Lucha Libre, but it's a really good promotion.
Yeah, no, I think it's the best Lucha Libre that's out there right now, definitely. And the thing is, there's this stigma, especially with internet wrestling fans, that the WWE is bad or this like some evil entity, when that's not it at all. WWE is good for wrestling, just like indie wrestling is good.
And
for wrestling.
now more than ever, they're great for wrestling because you have Triple H showing up at indie promotions.
Yep. Triple H going out there and saying, hey, we want to work with these guys. We know that this is where, the hard work meets the pavement.
Yeah.
And we are in a wrestling renaissance, which is great. I mean, it really is.
It's 2017. It's the silly season. It's the equivalent of a silly season for wrestling this year.
It is. I mean, it has been the most batshit year for professional wrestling, and it's amazing.
Let's go ahead and move on to the last part. It was Tanahashi defending against. I didn't even write down who his match was against.
Kota Ibushi.
Yes, Kota Ibushi. God, how did I forget about that? I'm ashamed of myself.
Remember he tried to kill himself about 6 times.
Yeah, classic Kota. Tries to kill himself at least twice in a match. This match was about 6 times. Tanahashi retains. Yeah. I don't remember how he retained. It's been a couple weeks since we watched.
It was a good match.
Yeah.
From what I remember, there was a couple of really good spots. I remember a really nasty German suplex apron spot that Kota hit on Hiroshi. That looked good. Which just proves that Hiroshi Tanahashi can still take those kinds of thumps, which is nice.
And that Kota is completely committed to wanting to kill everyone in his path, including himself.
He wants to kill everyone, including himself. He's the new homicidal, suicidal, genocidal maniac. Yeah,
he's Sabu. He's the Japanese Sabu.
He is literally young Japanese anime Sabu.
Anime is the seller there. That's the main point. Don't forget about that part.
That's the real thing. He came popping out of some crazy fucking show. And after this, Jay White comes out and it's revealed that he is the Switchblade.
The young lion, the old young lion. It's weird to say.
The old young lion. But yeah, he debuts, comes out, challenges Hiroshi Tanahashi for a match for the Intercontinental title at Wrestle Kingdom, which Hiroshi accepts.
We're going to be referring to Jay White as Discount Kenny Omega from now on.
He basically is Discount Kenny Omega.
He looked cool, but it was too close to Kenny's look. Yeah.
It was like some 18-year-old internet kid was like, I'm going to be Kenny Omega for Halloween, and that's what he came up with.
And it was Jay White. It was actually Jay White.
It was actually Jay White the whole time. This wasn't, the match that I think everyone wanted. I think this will still turn out to be a great match. Tanahashi can have a good match with just about anybody, and Jay White is actually really, really good. I was looking at some of his stuff on YouTube, and he is really an incredible in-ring performer.
I haven't watched any of his stuff yet. I'll definitely have to check him out. He has the look. He has the look, though. I will say that. He got my attention.
Yeah. And I didn't realize his size until I saw him in the ring with Tanahashi, and I was like, wow, that's a big guy.
He's huge. I think me and you both even acknowledged that while we were when we were watching.
While we were watching it. Because it's hard to make Tanahashi look small, but he kind of made Tanahashi look small. But he's very, very quick in the ring, so it'll be interesting for sure. Not the match that I think a lot of people were looking forward to. I don't know if there was one in particular people wanted. I think a lot of people kind of thought that Tanahashi might have dropped the title before Wrestle Kingdom, but
yeah, I think that was. I think a lot of people actually expected him to drop it to Kota at Power Struggle.
I kind of did too, and this almost makes me worry that Kota has not signed a full-time contract with NJPW. It kind of pisses me off.
I think he's just enjoying his time being able to do whatever he wants.
I think he is too. I think he's just making so much money it doesn't matter either way.
But even Cody was making a ton of money doing whatever he wanted. He signed with Ring of Honor, so.
I think everyone wants that stability.
Yeah.
So let's kind of wrap it up here. I'm getting worn out and ready to head to bed. But anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a night?
Okay, there is one thing that we have been talking about all week, and I want to get the opinion of everyone else and anyone that may listen to this. and we had a heated discussion about it last night.
I know where you're going.
It is who has had, and it's not overall career. It's just
not wrestling career.
Not wrestling career. Wrestling career is outside. I don't care about what they did in the ring, what championships. I don't give a shit. They're not even wrestlers in this scenario. Dave Bautista versus Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Who's the better actor? Who had the better roles? And that's it. Who's the better actor? Who had the better roles? It's easy. It's Dave. It's fucking Dave Bautista.
It's not. It's The Rock J.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
No.
Hang on. Let's go to Dave Bautista's IMDb.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson's movie career is just trash. He had one good movie, and it was Walking Tall, and it was kind of funny in 2004. And
But
since
he
then-
got carried through that movie because of Johnny Knoxville.
True.
Johnny Knoxville wasn't in that movie. That movie would have crashed. Dwayne Johnson, yeah, he's a big dude. He's a star. I will admit that. But I don't like many of his movies.
No, I don't either. I am.
Criminal Intelligence movie, y'all.
Okay, that movie was hilarious. I will say that. I'm not saying that The Rock is a bad actor. I'm just saying that overall, Dave has had better roles than Dwayne Johnson has, and I have their IMDb's both pulled up. And I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna run through Dave's real quick. He is credited in 54 movies. Some of them aren't done yet, but he was just in Blade Runner 2049, which didn't do too well in the box office. But it's a really good movie. It's a great movie. He did really well in it. He obviously his biggest role yet. He was Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. Holy fuck! Did he kill that?
Yeah, amazing.
I will give you that. He did. Play Drax.
He killed it in Drax. He was so good. He was in the Scorpion King 3, which I didn't know there was a Scorpion King 2.
You're telling me you're not a big Scorpion King franchise guy?
Not really, man. Not really.
I'm not.
I watched the first one. Well, I mean, I watched the first one because of The Rock, but like,
y'all remember at the end of the Mummy, whenever the original Scorpion King, because the Scorpion King was originally at the end of one of the mummies, and originally it was just a scorpion, and then it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson's head.
I remember that.
Scorpion, and it was so terrible.
I remember that.
And then when the movie came out, I was so pissed that it wasn't a movie of just Dwayne The Rock Johnson on a scorpion body.
Okay, so let's run through The Rock's IMDb real quick. His like major roles. He's been on a bunch of TV shows, which so is Batista, but I'm not gonna run through every TV cameo they've had.
No.
The first major role that The Rock had was The Mummy Returns. We just talked about that. Not good.
Yeah.
The Scorpion King, as a kid, I liked that movie because it was the fucking Rock. But I've watched that movie like pretty recently, like about a year ago. That was a terrible fucking movie. The Scorpion King was garbage.
Yeah, it was like The Mummy if The Mummy was made with shit.
Yeah.
And The Mummy sucked anyway.
And then we have, like we were talking about earlier, Walking Tall, where I think everyone could agree Johnny Knoxville was the star of that movie. The Rock was just there.
The Rock was...
Now, the Fast and Furious role,
like,
The Rock played pretty good. I think he did.
And that's where we come to a screeching halt, because after Tokyo Drift, the Fast and Furious franchise should have fucking died. Because in my opinion, the Fast and Furious has been trash since Tokyo Drift.
I will give him the fact that his role in the Fast and the Furious is one of the only good parts of that series now.
I can agree with that. But the movies are awful.
I think I stopped watching after like 13 or something like that. But
after 13.
He's the only part of it that I enjoyed.
I can agree with that, but at the same time, that's not saying much. He was in the Doom movie, which is based off the video game Doom. I watched that because I was a big fan of the Doom game when I was a kid.
I
The
watched
movie
that too.
it was garbage.
And then
I thought
He was in
fine.
okay. Here's one.
Jumanji
where-
is going to be great.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Jumanji with The Rock is going to be great.
I think it'll be pretty good. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. But here's one we can all agree with. Gridiron Gang was great. And if you didn't cry watching that movie, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, Gridiron Gang is one of those movies where every man is allowed to like really cry.
Yes.
And really get
Gridiron Gang was amazing.
Honestly, I have never seen that movie.
You need to watch it
Oh,
because it's amazing.
oh,
Coming from a guy who hates Dwayne Johnson as an actor, great movie.
You are going to cry.
Yeah, you will cry.
Good.
But
But
then
it is
here's where it starts
so-
going downhill. Race to Witch Mountain.
What?
Tooth Fairy.
Even
Yeah.
better.
He was in the other guys, but he wasn't in it very long. He died like, 10 minutes into that movie?
Dude, I was having a conversation at work the other day about that movie. That movie had every bit of potential to be hilarious. And then they used their funniest joke 10 minutes into the movie.
Yep.
And then after that, it's just stupid. Like, the funniest part of that whole movie is when they die.
Yeah.
Because it is so unexpected and so out of nowhere.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I don't even really count him as being in that movie because they died 10 minutes in.
Okay,
No.
what five listeners we had on this podcast? They've all just tuned out. It's just us talking.
We're just talking about The Rock and how Dave Bautista's a better actor. Whatever. It's going to happen. He was a voice actor in Moana. Well, he was in Central Intelligence too, which I said I loved that movie. I thought it was hilarious. And he was a voice actor in Moana. I haven't watched that. I've heard it was really good, but I haven't watched it.
It's pretty good.
And he was in Baywatch, the new Baywatch remake, which I didn't watch, but everyone I have ever met that has said they've watched that movie said it was fucking awful.
Of course it was. It was a Baywatch remake.
Yeah. And then he was in that San Andreas movie,
So
Yeah,
which they're making a sequel for.
I think
I
he's
think we can-
supposed to be one of the upcoming DC villains. I think.
he is. He's gonna be Shazam, or not Shazam, Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that'll be
let's
good.
make this a triple threat. Let's bring in John Cena. He's moving up in the acting ranks.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, he's had his most prominent role was the fact that he was the guy that was fucking Amy Schumer in that one movie that Amy Schumer was in that one time.
And Amy
Train wreck.
Schumer's awful.
Exactly.
Well, hang on, because The Marine is the greatest movie ever made.
It is. Now, hold up here. The Marine and 12 Rounds were great movies.
See, I never watched 12 Rounds. Actually, funny story, I have a copy of The Marine somewhere in this house, autographed by John Cena.
And I love the fact that John Cena is in those movies, but I do not like John Cena as an actor.
I don't think I've watched enough John Cena movies for me to have an opinion on him
It's
as
weird,
an
like,
actor. He was in
sounds-
Daddy's Home, that movie with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. He was in the end
Yeah.
of it, and he's going to be a main character in the sequel.
That's just gross.
I'm excited for it. He plays a really, he looks like he would play a really cool dad, which is what he's being portrayed as in those movies. But all of his acting, all of his whatever acting he's ever done, whatever movie he's ever done, it all gets put to rest by his role as Lance Catamaran on Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Which is really what this entire podcast is about. We are an advertisement for Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Yep, that's what this past hour and 40 minutes has been nothing but filler for me to bring you to the advertisement for Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
The greatest wrestling program on TV today. Check it out on the archives section of the WWE Network.
And I love that it's on the archives section.
I know.
That's so funny.
Just being There's some guy that's like programming. He's like, it'd be really funny if I just moved this here. I bet nobody would notice, and I guarantee you, they've just never even thought about it.
No. And then us marks fucking find it.
They were just all over it. But with that, I am out for the evening.
Yeah, I think it's about time we wrapped it up. We've exhausted everything we could possibly talk about.
We really have, but this has been fun. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for the. I don't even know how many people tuned in. I didn't really check.
I haven't been paying attention.
For the people that did tune in and listen, thank you.
Two.
Hey,
We had 2. That's awesome. That's more than I had the first time I streamed video games on Twitch. So like, hey, we're already doing better than my video game career.
Hey, we have 20 views according to what I'm looking at right now, and that's better than where we started at. So
On YouTube, I had 2. So Twitch, I'm not sure.
There we go. So thank you guys for tuning in to us, and we will be back at the same time next week. We will also be doing a Saturday morning podcast. We haven't really decided if we're gonna do that one live or not.
I think we'll just record that one, and I'll throw it up on YouTube sometime that weekend. That'll be our preview predictions for Survivor Series. It'll be me, Alex, and Old Blue Chris. Finally get him on. We have to wake up real early in the morning to be able to do anything with him. God bless his soul.
Like 10 a.m. It sucks.
Yeah, it's so early. Who fucking wakes up that early? That's madness.
Only adults.
But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Dylan, for coming and hanging out with us. I really appreciate it, man. You did fucking great. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you everyone for listening to us literally ramble on for an hour and 45 minutes because we're not even talking about anything anymore.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I'm glad that you learned about allergy medicine and the fact that Marty Skrull is the be-all, end-all to Will Ospreay's world.
And Dave Bautista's a better actor than The Rock. Don't forget that.
Forever and
Bro,
always.
please forget that.
Thank you guys. Alex is out.
Thank you guys. The Spot for Life. We're out.